Hello everyone, we're going to take a look at exercise 76, which is kind of like one big riddle, right? This is what you can get when people are trying to give you a math riddle, and you should try, in this case, first of all, make this is all very abstract. Try to find a way to write it down, and write it down in such a way that you will find an equation that I can try to solve. And they get more difficult down the road. So A is easier than B is easier than C. Let's try A. The product of two consecutive even numbers is 288. Which two numbers? So I'm going to have two consecutive even numbers. So let's say I have one even number. How can I describe even numbers? Do you still know that? We did that in 7.3, I think, when we got to prove certain theories. We could say, well, an even number can be written as 2x, right? The product of two consecutive even numbers, well, product means we have to multiply it. What's the next consecutive number? Let's say this is 4, then the next one is 6. Let's say this is 12, then the next one is 14. Consecutive means opeenvolgend, right? So 2 and 4, 8 and 10, 16 and 18. So if the first one is 2x, then the next one, I think, would be 2x plus 2, right? And this is a product, and I have to multiply that 2 as well. So I have to write it down like this. And this has to be equal to 288, which gives us 4x squared plus 4x equals 288. Get 288 to the other side. We do that by doing minus 288 on the right hand side. Then we should do it on the left hand side also. Yeah, and now we don't have just x squared, we have 4x squared, right? So what we do is we divide all the terms by 4. Even the 0. Doesn't change anything, but just to be clear how this rule works. Then we get x squared plus x. What's this number going to be? I think it's going to be minus 72, right? Equals 0. And yeah, this one you should solve using the product sum methods. How can I do that? Well, the sum must be 1, and the difference, or the product, sorry, must be minus 72. Which two numbers are that? And this, in this case, is, I think, one of the more difficult ones to solve, because minus 72 is quite a big number, which means that in this case I have to search for numbers that are almost the same, because the sum isn't that different, right? So if you want to, you can make a table here, or you can try to do this mentally. I'm trying to do this mentally. I think I should be able to do that. It's just that I have to think for a while. Not going to be 6, but 6 and 12. That doesn't give me... Now I have them. Right. So make a table if you want to. Try to do this mentally. This one mentally, I think, can be a bit more difficult, but you will manage in the end. You will find x plus 9 and x minus 8. which means that in the final answer I will find x plus 9 is 0, or x minus 8 is 0, which means x is minus 9, or x is 8. Am I done yet? No, because in this case, first of all, can I use minus 9? No, because that's not a positive even number. It's not even an even number. So I have to use this one. X is 8. What were my numbers? Well, I said the first even number was 2x and the second even number was 2x plus 2. So I now have to fill in x is 8 to find the actual numbers, which gives me 2 times 8 equals 16, and gives me 2 times 8 plus 2 equals 18. And if you now have troubles deciding whether this is the actual answer or not, well, try to multiply 18 and 16. If you do that, you will find that the product is going to be 288, which is what I wanted to find. Okay, so don't forget that if you find the answers here, you have to say, well, minus 9 is not possible, 8 is, fill in 8 in what I named my two even numbers. So do not say, well, the first is 8 and the other is 8 plus 2. No, 2x and 2x plus 2 is what I specified to be my even numbers. Next one, B. Two natural numbers, they don't have to be even. So let's call the first one x. The second one, well, the difference of them is 5. Het verschil tussen de twee is 5. Which means, let's say the first number is 1, this next one is 6. The first one is 2, the next one is 7, etc. So if this one is x, the other one is going to be x plus 5. And I still have products of 104. And put this inside of brackets, please, right? I have to multiply everything. Here, multiplying out the brackets. And this, I think, is the first difficult part, right? To find your equation. Now I have to solve the equation. Oh, and then I again get something like this. Equals, no, sorry. Minus 104 equals 0. So this one is a nasty one again, because now I have to find two numbers of which the sum is 5 and the product is minus 104. Yikes, that's not an easy one either. So if you want to, right, again, make a table like this. A long one, I guess. Of which the product is minus 104. And here we write down the sum. And if you do it like this, you can do it quite in order, right? You have 1 and minus 104, minus 1 and 104. Okay, next one. 2 and minus 52, and minus 2 and 52. The next one, can I divide this by 3? I don't think so. By 4, yes I can. 4 and minus 26, and minus 4 and 26. I cannot divide by 5. Can I divide by 6? I think I can divide by 6. Yes, certainly no, I can't. Sorry, I thought I could. You cannot do this. And use the rules from paragraph 7.1, where we learned if you can check whether you can divide something by 6, right? You could do that and use that to check whether this is possible. I cannot divide by 7. I can divide by 8 though, I think. Because dividing by 8 gives me 13. So 8 and minus 13 and minus 8 and 13. And this is where I stop, because I already see these numbers right here. I don't even have to calculate the sum of, because I see that the sum will never be 5. The numbers are too far apart. Here I already see, hey, the difference is going to be 22, the sum. Here I find minus 5 and 5. And now I'm happy because I want the sum to be 5. So I must use minus 8 and plus 13. So if you don't want to do it mentally, do it this way, right? X is 8 or X. Oh yeah, X is 8, but I should know better. I should write down an intermediate step. X minus 8 equals 0 or X plus 13 equals 0. So X is 8 or X is minus 13. Is that a natural number? No, it isn't. So this option cannot be used. That's why I use thunder lightning bolts to indicate that. This one can be used. So which two numbers do I need? Well, the first number I called X, right? And the second number I called X plus 5. So if I now fill in X is 8, I get my number must be 8 or 8 plus 5 equals 13. 8 times 13 is 104. So I've done this correctly as well. Let's check the last one. Yeah, and they can make it as difficult as they want to, right? For 3 consecutive natural numbers, the product minus 12 is equal to the sum of the third power of the smallest number and the square of the smallest number. Yeah, okay, let's try. 3 consecutive natural numbers. So that means I could say the first one is 1, the second one is 2, and then I have 3. 4, 5, and 6 are consecutive numbers. So I could say the first one I name X, that's my smallest number. The one after that is X plus 1, and the one after that is X plus 2. I'm going to have to say that it's equal to something. The product minus 12, they also say. For the 3 consecutive natural numbers, the product minus 12. So I have to multiply this again. That's the product of those numbers. Minus 12 is equal to, that's your prompt to start an equal sign. The sum of something, what? The third power of the smallest number. What was my smallest number? That was X, right? To the third power and the square of the smallest number. Well, then this is what they ask you to solve. And I think the first part here is already quite difficult to understand. So this is not only mathematics, it's also linguistics, right? What exactly do they state here? And now I have to solve this as well. We can first do it like this, or we can first multiply out the brackets. Doesn't really matter which you use first. I guess I'm just going to do this one first. I take the book. If you use the elaboration book, they first do this, but this is equally fine. I find x squared plus x. And do you know why the book wants to do this first? Because this is now being multiplied in its entirety with this. Because there's a multiplication sign here. And if you do it this way, then it's, for some people, I think, easier to now forget that I have to use brackets. And then now they only multiply out the x. So I think the book, if you check the elaboration sheet, will first do this. Which gives me the same answer if I do it correctly, but here you're less prone to make errors. So leave this x here, which is going to be multiplied by the result of this, which is x squared plus 2x plus x plus 2. Close my brackets, minus 12 equals x to the power of 3 plus x squared. Here I can first simplify. X squared plus 3, so that's bit off, plus 3x plus 2 minus 12 is x to the power of 3 plus x squared. Multiply out the brackets now, like this. X to the power of 3 plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 12 equals x to the power of 3 plus x squared. Now I want to get rid of this here, so I do minus x to the power of 3 and minus x squared, and I do that here as well. Luckily that gets rid of this x to the power of 3, because we're not able to solve that kind of equations yet. I do still have 2x squared plus 2x minus 12 equals 0. Now divide everything by 2 because I want to get rid of my 2 in front of my x squared. Which gives me x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Which actually this one is easier than what I was left with here and there, right? So that's something. I think here I have to use the product sum method again. Which is going to be the answer? Well, I think only plus 3 and minus 2 is possible here, right? 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. So x plus 3 equals 0. Or x minus 2 equals 0. And we're almost there. This means x is minus 3 or x is 2. Let's check the question. They stated 3 consecutive natural numbers. Minus 3 is not a natural number. So this one is out. I cannot use this as an answer. I can use, however, this. Which were my natural numbers? We had x, x plus 1 and x plus 2. So if I now fill in my answer x is 2, I find my consecutive natural numbers have to be 2, 3 and 4. And that was quite the calculation that we had to do here and at the other ones as well. One fair notice, this really is quite elaborate. So don't worry, not all exercises on the test are going to be like this. You can get one of them maybe somewhere, but certainly not all of them, because yeah, that's not going to be fair to you guys, right? Okay, if you have any questions, ask me in class, and I wish you good luck with finishing this chapter.